So here we go. Here we go. Another day, another calisthenics spot, daily regime. But first, going to the mineral water. The moment, still in Sofia, Bulgaria. I love Bulgaria. It's one of the reasons that I'm over here. I mentioned the reason yesterday. Why not again? The thing about Bulgaria, and I think most Bulgarians who never left the country don't see the value of this, but because I'm raised in the Western countries, I was raised in Holland, lived over there for 30 years. But here in Bulgaria, common sense. People don't come up with all this mental diseases and that kind of stuff. I like that. And there are a lot of other reasons. But one of the main reasons when people ask me, why are you in Bulgaria? Because most people who know me, that I can go and be wherever I want to be. Whenever I want. But that's the main reason. Raised in Holland, also lived in Malta. Still, I would go once in a while to Malta, but more or less for fun. Maybe even take an apartment or whatever. Thing is, for now, Sofia, Bulgaria, providing the value, enjoying the country. And the thing is, what I said, a lot of Bulgarians who never left the country, they don't actually understand the value asset that they're sitting on. And the thing is, let me address one topic, a returning topic, when I speak with locals, and that is never to disrespect. Especially when I speak with new ones that don't know anything about me. The thing is, a lot of Bulgarians that I talked with and that they didn't know me, they used to like to use the excuse that they couldn't succeed because of the country. And then I tell my story. When I was 30, I lost everything. I came to Bulgaria to survive and pick up my life again. Until I was 30, I always had normal businesses, offline projects. But because of the fact that my ambition was way much higher than my talent, I messed up big time. And I could blame it on external factors, which I don't, but they played a role and I acted emotional to it. And now at 47, I'm back again in Bulgaria. I went away to Malta for 5 years. That also ended up in a disaster at one point. Let me tell the story a little bit. So I'm only going to tell you a part of the story, how I ended up in Malta. Because at that time, we lived already for 7 years in Bulgaria. And then I said, you know what? Let's go to, I wanted to go to Marbella, to live in Marbella. And the thing is, at that time, my girlfriend, now obviously my ex is already many years ago, but the thing is, she said, you know what, why don't we go to Malta? I said, what the fuck, what is Malta? And I actually never heard about Malta. And when it's about traveling, I'm a very bad pigeon. I don't know, I don't even what north, if you ask me now where to point to the north or whatever, I wouldn't know. So just to indicate a little bit my level of being a geographic genius. No, I'm not. So she said, yeah, let's go to Malta. So that's how I ended up in Malta, and that the last years in Malta were a big disaster, and things are still going on. Not regarding my ex, there's already multiple exes back, so that's not the thing. But that's how we ended up, or I ended up in Malta, and disasters started to strike when one of the how do you say, the landlords put me on the street in COVID. I had a great apartment, by the way, over there. But so that is a little story about Malta. But there's a lot of I got still projects running over there, actually big ones, and I'm mentally preparing for that. But anyway, different story, different topic. Now I'm mentally preparing for the calisthenics regime of today. I actually physically, I'm actually now trying to switch the screen, but I don't know, because of the live stream it's probably not possible. Normally I prefer to do the live streaming with the GoPro Hero 12, but that's not possible with in portrait mode, and portrait mode gives you simply more views and attention. And the thing is, when it's about attention, I don't want to get into scamming, the filming the scammers or making people angry, all that traditional stuff, pranks. No, I keep it raw and real. My vlogs are unedited and real. My business strategies are uncapped, evergreen, and can be executed by a 12-year-old who has a set of those two things between the legs. It's called a set of balls, which means you have to speak up. And I speak to the people who say that they introvert. Especially a lot of people from the Western countries like to use that word. I'm an introvert. An introvert. What does that mean? You simply don't have the experience. Replace that. And I'm speaking always real, so maybe it's time to swipe away and give me a thumbs down if you don't like to hear reality. If you don't want to succeed in life, or even want to feel fulfilled in life, swipe away. It's free. And swiping only costs you a tiny bit of energy, right? And then you can continue with your morning coffee, or I don't know what time it is. But for the people who want to get rid of this 9-to-5 race, self-employed business models, I always mention those. Been there, done that, more than 20 years ago. So the thing is, now I'm doing everything from the phone. And no, this is not about that you have to walk around like me, live streaming or whatever. The thing is, it's all about communication and using the right strategies that can be done from the phone. I'm giving everything away for free, and the thing is, I talked about this in one of my, I think, vlogs. I am going to use the option in YouTube where you can add courses, and the first course is going to be about how to find out what you want. What do you want in life? A lot of young people don't know. They also don't know how to do it. And of course, you can be an idiot like me at 25, pumping out as many businesses as you can, but simply lack in human interaction skills, totally not educated on money management and people management, and then start hiring a lot of people. Also should not do it like that. But of course, if I wouldn't have done it like that, then I couldn't talk like this. And of course, losing a couple of times everything, that makes me totally detached from showing people all kind of shiny objects that makes them temporarily very excited. I'm also not selling anything. I'm not selling you a course of $27 or $7 or $97 or $49.99 so you can get access to a bunch of millionaires who definitely not going to spend a single second with you. But you can only listen to their success stories and their strategies. Strategies are just for hyping up people. Work structures, those are the dangerous things. Those are the dangerous things that can make you succeed or simply not. Because most people don't like the word work. Structure, maybe they get a little bit excited. Work structure, and the people who actually start doing something is, maybe 1%. And even a lesser amount of percentage they actually push through. That is 0.00001%. So I am going to give those strategies away for free. Why? Well, simply if you push it through and you will hit a roof, let's say you hit the 10K a month or something, you will probably want more. You feel a little bit of taste, which is great. Then I would know you have put in the work. We could discuss the problems that you ran into, and then I know that you're not one of those people who just want to earn a little bit money and then just get discouraged when you don't roll in the millions within 30 days. And most people, when they start something, then they, we all know how that works. It's not going to be a negative live streaming thing. It's simply reality. And again, feel free, whatever you're going to do, swipe away or listen to reality. Now I'm walking to a calisthenic spot. I'm actually trying to find my way through the crowd. Also not running in too much noise. And there is another benefit, I think, from the way I'm vlogging. Not bragging, just sharing my thoughts on reality. And I'm raised pretty like this. Non-stop stress for the first decades of our lives. Non-stop. And I'm saying that these things with all the respect, so I'm more than grateful that the people adopted me, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be alive, or I would be sitting over there in Indonesia where I was born under a tree smoking cigarettes and dying probably of lung cancer within a few months. So I'm more than grateful. And I'm also more than grateful for the harsh lessons that we received. That means daily stress, always getting told that we're never good enough. And I do believe that is true. You're never good enough. No matter what kind of direction you're going. For example, when you start dating, you're never good enough. There's always somebody better. You're gonna buy a Lamborghini. There's always somebody who has a bigger one, so you're never good enough. But what I always say, be in peace with not being enough. And if you can live in peace, genuinely in peace, not like those people who say, yeah, totally true. And then in the meantime, playing on the PlayStation and just trying to escape reality. No, I'm talking to people who are willing to face reality, put in the work. How would I know when I see you walking? Well, for example, when I meet with new people, I'm always 30 minutes earlier. I'm always sitting on strategic spots where a lot of people are walking, so I can straight away see how they interact with the world. So how they treat people who are not beneficial for them directly or never would be directly beneficial. So that is point number one. I always look at people, how they treat other people. Not how they treat me, because you can probably want to lick my ass until I would say, no, that feels good. But I'm not born yesterday, I'm 47 now. And let's say it like this. I started cleaning bicycles when I was 11. So you maybe understand a little bit that I have a lot of human interaction experience in real life. I'm not reading from a book and then put the 3 letters in front of my name, PhD, graduated with I don't know what bullshit. No, we're living a real life communication. That is my main priority. And not only this, I can teach you in 1 hour how to speak better and convert faster, and not like using all those complicated, words just executable by a 12-year-old. When I talk with people, my close circle, and we talk about the children's future, I always say, push them towards communication. Communication, if you know how to communicate better, you can communicate better your boundaries. Oh, big one. You can communicate better your emotions. Big one. Communicate better your needs. Communicate everything. Communication is everything. The rest will follow. Communication simply opens doors. You can be the best surgeon on the planet, but if nobody knows about it, you're still just as unfulfilled and perhaps broke as the homeless guy that you find on the street every morning that you go to the coffee place, right? So communication, number one. What I always say in my vlogs is simply respect everybody, every day a little bit better. Scrutinize yourself, be judgmental to yourself, and say in the mirror, maybe at the end of the day, I could have done better, tomorrow better. And that really pushes always on this very sensitive topic. You're never good enough. You're never good enough, and be at peace with it. You're never good enough. There's always somebody, you make 100K a month, somebody else makes a million a day. So you're never good enough. So why stop growing? That is always my question. Why stop growing? Why sit down? You got 24 hours in a day. You probably sleep away 8 hours, some even longer, and you watch television, this square thing on the wall that is actually totally useless, in my opinion. But like always, I'm saying I'm an obsessed person with growth. So if you would really take a look at my life, you would say, no, there's also that's something that I want. No, probably not. I am living for freedom and obtaining leverage in multiple countries and providing the knowledge for people how to use their phone to make a living. That's my purpose on this planet. For me, happiness is not something that I chase. Discipline is what I chase, and happiness is a byproduct, or I would prefer to say fulfillment is part of the game. And fulfillment is way much worth than happiness. Happiness is simply probably the result or the positive collateral damage of discipline plus feeling fulfilled at the end of the day, and be at peace with not being enough. Never. Simple. Very simple. There's always a more beautiful girl. There's always a more handsome guy. There's always a guy who has a better hair thing on his head. But you know what? That's life. So be it. So be it. So when people think they're introvert and not good enough, true. Totally true. You're not good enough. You're unexperienced. Yeah, but they'll not try it 100 times. 100 times? You're not even getting started. 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 10,000 times, and then I would say, no, we're getting somewhere. And the thing is, with how people present themselves, see, this is also another thing. Over there, you see the calisthenics spot. Over here, this is actually the beautiful weather training spot. And there's no disrespect to the people here in this neighborhood. I live in this Airbnb for more than a year now. But you know what? It's good to hear the truth. The truth. Maybe sometimes, you think, oh, what an asshole. But in general, over here, this spot is only full with beautiful weather trainers. And what I always say about beautiful weather trainers is all fun, but the physique tells it, shows it. And the way they speak about their training, the fire isn't there. Why? Because they don't put in the daily work. Yeah, but people say that you need to take a day off. Yeah, you know why? So they can get ahead. All the people that told me once that I need to take a day off, or that normal people bullshit, because I'm putting every day the work, the calisthenics, and and a lot of running. This month, low amount of run around. This month only around, I think, 125 kilometers, and then it's done deal. But the thing is, we're going back to the 250, 300, and then after 2.5 months, a 150 kilometer run. But hey, we're not talking about this. It's simply about taking days off. That is all fun. When you train in the gym, wait a minute, freaking plane. And when you're in the gym, then you need to take a day off, had to grow, because yeah, you know, you need some biceps and that kind of stuff. The thing is, that is all fun. I train for mental resilience, and you need resilience in business. Resilience to stand the times that you have to stay awake, skip a night, maybe high stress for signing that contract, closing that deal, taking a little bit of equity in another person's company, but in the meantime you're not sure if you can actually fulfill or whatever, and every day upscaling your skills. Just put in the work every single day, because you're not good enough. And you miss a day, we get ahead. You take a day off on Sunday, we get ahead. But yeah, people like me, we're obsessed. So this is for me 365 days a year. This is not some kind of stuff that and I got a purpose to fulfill. I want to set people free from slavery, and the reason is very simple. And if you don't understand what I mean, go into the subway around when normal people go to their jobs and check how lively they are. The life is not visible anymore in their eyes. Go to the zoo and you know exactly what I mean. There's no life in the eye of the tiger anymore. Humans are the same. I always say humans are animals. And of course, people adapt, become quote unquote civilized. But in the meantime, the instinct of having desires exists and will never fade away. Although they think and they try to hide it, but it will flow into other things, distractions. Oh yeah, I'm not having the woman that I actually love, but you know what? Because I settled. And of course you need distractions for that, because you're unsatisfied, unfulfilled, and of course disappointed in yourself, and you will die with regret. That sounds horrible though, but we all know it's true. We all know that one person, he reached the 65 or my age, and they already getting tired, they coughing, and oh, I'm getting old. I know people of 38 who tell me, Dylan, I'm so tired. I said, what the fuck? You're 38? If you're 38 and you're already tired from what we did so far, because I used to train a little bit people, but I also stopped doing that because, yeah, you know. Anyway, because they used to what their friends say, take days off, and I don't know, that normal people bullshit. The thing is, don't take days off, because I think like this: when you miss yesterday's growth, you cannot turn back the time. Look at these trees. Do you think that they took a day off? Let's stop growing. Let's stop focusing on growing the leaf in the spring. No, they don't. And that's the thing about humans, right? They got a choice. Let's see, let's run 5 kilometers, or what's this latest new series that looks so good? So much romance, zombies, and all that kind of BS. Kissy, kissy, zombie, zombie. Yeah, but Dalton, that sounds so disrespectful. Those are great series. Yes, they are made to keep you distracted. And of course, they are multi-million dollar business models. But you don't want to be on the side of in front of the television, because what do you want on this stone when you go into the ground and when you're dead? He or she scrolled his life away or watched at least 10 times this mini-series. End of date. Boom. Gone. Dead forever. Think about it. What do you want? That people remember you for watching those beautiful Netflix series on this huge screen that you bought from credit, that your master actually also indirectly provided, because you have to go over there from 9 to 5, and he will decide also when you can go outside the country with your spouse that you're already totally fed up with, and then eat a pizza and make some pictures, from all kind of angles. And this is always what I highly recommend with being judgmental to yourself, is try to look at it from a third person, a bird view. When you sit with other people, how does it look like from if you would look from a third person to you and your person, the other person that you sit with? How does it look like? And your posture, the way you speak, or you don't speak at all, you sit together and you scroll faster just to get distracted from the meeting, waste each other's time. What do you do? What are you doing? What are you talking about? You complain about stuff, the government, or this latest Netflix series again, or Hulu, or I don't know. So that's the thing. What do you bring to the table? Yeah, but Alan, I don't have any value. No. Great. You start admitting reality. This is already the first step. Now, what do you do next? Think about your actions, your daily actions. So what do? You get up. You drink coffee, or you start with water. You take some extra vitamins, or what do you do? What do? You masturbate, you fall asleep again. You wake up at 11. Maybe you start with your first drink at 12 o'clock. I don't know. What are you doing? You scrutinize yourself. Not being judgmental over here. I'm just trying to push people a little bit in the direction that they clean up their habits, that negative habits. Or if you got negative habits, go all the way. I used boatloads of drugs for decades. Alcohol, mamma mia, even run a bar. But anyway, different stories, different timelines. But the thing is, I've been there, done that. So I'm never judgmental. But when I did something, so for example, when I would do now a drinky pool, then I prefer to drink 2 or 3 days in a row, and then also get rid of it again. Not continuously, make it a habit that you, let's say, sit on a couch watching stuff and drink beer or whatever. That has totally no value. Anyway, I'm still thinking how to get to the calisthenics spots. There's everywhere people, man. And you know what? I never want to make people feel uncomfortable by putting a camera in their nose. And I mentioned this topic multiple times, but I'm going to talk about it again. People who going to those areas where those cameras are already active for decades, or maybe a few years. I'm gonna bet that you can make any person angry and can make and reach thousands and thousands of views on your videos, because people like to see emotion, right? Crying people, angry people. So if you're looking for those thousands of views on the videos, go to any kind of group of people and start filming them. I talked about this, I think, in one vlog. People who are sitting with their manager somewhere in the mall, in the eating canteen, eating burgers and pizzas, all the stuff to keep them under the thumb of the corporations. The thing is, put a camera in the nose and just tell them how bad they are scamming themselves out of health. Well, trust me, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy. So, when it's about that kind of vloggers, that is all fun. And to put scammers on the thing and get beer bottles thrown at your face and maybe here and there a heroin needle. But the thing is, how are you going to take care of the problem? Only address it, and then just enjoy the views, and have a lot of people as an audience that prefer to see emotion of other people to feel better about their own lives. No. My content is pretty real, and when it's about walking to the calisthenics spots, this is how it feels. I could sit in a swimming pool every single day in Malta, or on the Blue Lagoon, because I have projects running around over there, and I would sitting on the boat back and forwards the whole day, vlogging and telling people, no, you know, go into trading, no human interaction skills necessary. Go into e-commerce, one product, blah 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 shops. No, I'm telling you different kind of strategies that can be done from the phone, and yes, you need human interaction skills. By actually utilizing your skill with your mouth, it's called communication, you benefit in so many more ways than you can probably imagine now. Better relationships, deeper relationships, stronger bonds with the people that you actually love, show gratitude, speak gratitude, and actually recognize patterns of people with red flags. That's why I speak about the red flags. See, when you step out of your 9 to 5, you will start breathing life, getting in touch with people who don't have the best intention, not always on purpose, because a lot of people are simply, most people are simply on their way, the learning curve, and a lot of people have not arrived yet. Do I have arrived? No, I will probably arrive when I'm reaching 100. It's in 53 years. But anyway, and a lot of people maybe think, no, yeah, you're never gonna reach 100 if you never take breaks. No, you know what? Even if I would fail not reaching 100, so what? Then I'm on the ground. Maybe I will crawl over there in the Vitisha mountain under a rock. Who gives a shit? When I'm dead, I'm dead. But the thing is, when I'm dead, I got such a huge amount of not only content, but I got at the moment 2.1 gigabyte on my Google Drive will be available for the public. So it would be better that I'm dead, so people have access to strategies and, you know, pretty much unlimited amounts, and it's connected to one AI chat, so you can talk with me even when I'm dead. You can probably ask me more questions when I'm dead. So, you know, but I'm not planning to die. Look at this. This tree has more than enough water over here. Anyways, I think I cannot walk like this. See, at the moment I'm, by the way, filming with my Samsung S23, and that really looks like, when I walk like this, you know, you can see when people would walk over here, they get paranoid. I don't want to vibrate negativity in the world. So that's one of the reasons that I really don't know which direction to walk, in case some people think, yeah, what do you walk? Actually, you know, when people see me walking now, people already looking, but I think also most of the people know that I'm filming a lot in this park. This is actually more or less pretty hidden, because over there it's more busy, especially now. I don't even know what time it is. And I also had this thought once, when it's about doing everything from the phone, right? If everybody would actually live a life of freedom, the parks and everything would be constantly full, and then I have to look for a job to escape the crowd. But as I said, not everybody is willing to put in the work, physically, mentally. Educate yourself every single day, see what happens in the world, engage with the world. A lot of energy. You need energy. You need to feed yourself good. And of course, I'm not some kind of nutritionist guy, because I'm not doing those things all over the top, but I'm watching what I'm eating. I'm eating only to fuel. I'm not eating for pleasure. But the majority of time, when I take people out for dinners, yes, then I eat a little bit. But then, of course, I will punish myself the next day to show life is not all about the tasty burgers and all that kind of stuff. Not that I would eat burgers, by the way. If I take people out to places, then I always go to places that are not only tasty but also healthy. So I'm even you know, over there getting fueled. I don't want to feel bloated and, you know, guilty about the amount of BS that I would put in my body just to let's say spend time with another person, because that's only a smart amount of time, or a small amount of time. Everything has compounding effects in my life. All the actions that I take have compounding effects. Also this video, tack, 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 stacking. All the strategies that I'm launching, all the automated structures with make.com, they constantly compounding. Every single day, I think I got at the moment 83 scenarios running. I think people who are in automation, they could understand a little bit the magnitude of this, and all about distribution of content. And you can make thousands of videos, but you need to distribute them strategically and optimized, etc. You need to monitor them, blah, blah, blah. But also those scenarios, at the moment I got, I think, over 150 scenarios ready to go to give away. I'm not going to charge for that, I'm just going to give it away. Because those are simply necessary tools. You cannot, and you don't have to do a lot of things repetitive these days. So I am very obsessed, busy with AI, big part of the deal. The moment that AI actually became available to the public, I straight away dove in it for the first 6 months, 12 hours a day. So I wrote I think over 15,000 prompts since the beginning. Now things are so optimized. I'm gonna get a little bit into it. I'm only using now Google Gemini, because they come up constantly with new products, new features, etc. And the thing is, people, and the majority of people, they probably use ChatGPT, but yeah, they listen to those motivational speakers because they talk about the ChatGPT because they got stake in the game. And all those, famous people who mention the ChatGPT, that is then taken for the truth. I think like this, when it's about the Google Gemini thing, how long are they collecting data? Since the beginning of the internet, almost, right? I don't know who was earlier, because I'm not utilizing the internet from the beginning. I was forced to start using the internet 17 years ago when I lost everything. It was always offline business from 11 till I was 30. So, and then I was forced. I came to Bulgaria to survive, and I went to the Endika, the center, sitting over there many times, also other places, gas stations, get the Wi-Fi, and figure it out. Just figure it out every single day, bam, 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 bam. Yeah, but anyway, now 17 years later, I evolved, doing everything from the phone. Because around when I was 40, some other people decided again to do me very harm. Do I have emotional connection with this? No, I'm more than grateful, because this is the thing, what I always think. Do me harm, I survive, and I will get stronger 100 times. Because I've actually, when I lost everything, when I was 40 or 41, I actually realized one thing. Now I have to walk around with a laptop and try to figure it out. So we reduced it to a phone. So I had to change everything. Working structures, and because I'm always looking at my working structure, right? and that falls back into the fact that I'm always very judgmental to myself. I said this a few minutes ago, I don't know what, 10 minutes ago. Be judgmental to yourself. Scrutinize everything that you do, and your conversations, your work structure, your habits. Does it have compounding effects, or are it just loosey-goosey things, single actions that have totally no positive effect, perhaps even more detrimental or negative outcomes? You don't want this. You're wasting time. Every time that you do something, it should stack up. You go to train your legs, you train your upper body, whatever, it needs to stack up, stack. So in the next day you're stronger, the day after. And yes, you're probably gonna listen to the people around you, and they will say you have to take a day off. Don't listen to this guy who keeps on rattling about not days off. You know what? You can listen to the guy. Wait a minute, I have to think about my words, because I have very good contact with everybody. But when I get advice from the person behind the register, once I received one piece of advice. He said, you have to take a day off. I said, how old are you and what is your position? I think he was 27 and worked behind the register. I said, there you go. I'm on this side, and this is not to brag, this is reality, right? It's reality. What do you prefer? To be behind the register, or the client that actually tries to make people feel good? And maybe, you know, the soft-hearted people, they don't like to hear that kind of stuff because, yeah, you know, who wants to hear the reality? Not everybody, but the majority of people don't like reality. If you would love reality, you're not watching television. If you love reality, you don't have to swipe away your life. If you love reality, you say the truth every time your spouse asks you, am I too fat, baby? Maybe you should go to the gym. Yes. No, break up. But I always say, if everybody would be 100% straightforward, like I always am with all the people around me, the majority of relationships wouldn't exist. But there's a danger in that. When you become real, you're gonna lose a lot of people. But what I always say, you never own anybody. You never own anybody, so you're not losing anything. You're just saving time. You save time from the losers. You won't get rid of losers. Is that a bad thing? I'm not saying the word loser as a negative thing. If you talk about losers, I lost so much stuff in my life and everything was taken away from me. Not only the materialistic stuff, my dignity, everything. So I can speak like this, but I embrace it. I love it. And I'm very grateful for it. So that's what I always say. The biggest losers are the greatest performers. That's how I see it. So it's not, when I say you're a loser, doesn't matter. But how you get out of it. You know, I also always love people with a colorful background. You know, always. People with normal backgrounds where they sit on the lap of mommy and daddy, and mommy and daddy feeds them until they're 20. And it was always harmony and singing in front of the fireplace, and you know, growing beer bellies at 20. You know, that is that you harm your children. But there's another side. Yeah, there's actually one very interesting situation. I know one guy, actually his little brother, a very disrespectful little brother, but he is the perfect example of getting fed by his mommy. And then at one point he tried to hurt his mommy because he was, you know, mental issues. Of course you got mental issues. If you don't do anything, get welfare, get fed by your mother, and you know, but it's always already in somebody's character. You know, I also spit that guy once in his face because once he had some problems in the bar. Okay, I took care of business. The thing is, then he got angry at me and I said, hey, because you're the little brother of a person that I knew at that time, I spit him all in his face. I could also knock out his teeth. But anyway, that sounds all aggressive. I'm just giving you an example. Comfort leads to nothing. That's another reason why I live the way I live. Pretty Spartan. I eat like a Spartan. I train like a Spartan. And is this to brag? No. This is simply to keep me focused on my purpose. When it's about, at the moment I'm not in a relationship, but of course I'm stacking up. But the thing is, when it's about stacking up, I don't make quick decisions. I'm always looking at people, their energy levels, everything. Higher energy levels come with a lot of benefits. What do you think? What happens between the seats when you deal with somebody who is out of breath quickly? I'm just saying, we're not making this an 18 plus kind of talk, but it's reality. You don't want somebody who is quickly out of breath for multiple reasons. You think you can have a nice conversation, a long, deep conversation with a person who is quickly out of breath? No. Or a person who is constantly hungry and have all kind of other habits, you know, that are totally irrelevant or distracting. No. Me, I got very simple requirements, but I have incredibly nice outcomes. I always like people who are very, very, very generous and respectful to the surroundings. I love that. I love those people. I also always attracted to a higher level of energy. People who pay attention and actually treat people. Wait a minute, I had a third one, but there are a lot of people coming, so I need to escape a little bit to people. Like I said, I don't want to put people on camera. I also when it's about children. What the hell? Maybe it's some kind of, I don't know, some kind of festival day or freedom day. I don't know. No, it's not freedom day, but you know, I'm never up to date. What happens for me every day is just another 18 hours of high performance. Every single day. Every single day. Every single day. But it seems that I cannot find my way to a little hole and then slowly walking to the calisthenics spot. I think I'm gonna try this way. If people will come on our way, then we cut off the live stream, because yeah, like I said, I don't want to make people uncomfortable, because that brings negative energy to the table, and I'm not over here to bring negative energy to the table. Actually, this, when I say this, I came up with another thought. You know, in the past, you know, when I hang around with people that have lower amount of energy, and you know what at that time was for me a sensible trick to do, and totally dumbass, but I understand. But I used to drink, because otherwise I simply could not sit with those people. The energy was lower, the level of let's say attention and gratitude for life, their background was totally different, very, you know, very easy peasy, and that also resulted many times in problems. Is that because I'm the problem? No. This is another thing, a lesson to be learned from this. If you don't feel comfortable in any kind of way, or people make you feel uncomfortable, you simply don't belong in that circle of people. And you need to bite through the whole, let's say, quote unquote, painful process by cutting off those people. You have to cut away from people who are toxic, weak, and simply have a negative influence on your life. I am, at this point in my life, at 47, I have zero tolerance for lying. That's one thing. And also when it's about people that I learned or knew or know from a long time ago, when they start turning around events, because they think and that they have to turn around events which cost me more than just a simple amount of time or of energy. It also cost me great amounts of good relationships, because I prioritized some idiots. And now they're turning around events, which means they have nothing else going on in their life. That's another danger. And if you don't interact correctly with people, you will never find out what they're really doing, what's going on. And people who are settling and all that normal people stuff, and the fire blows out from their life, out of the eyes. You know, there's no fire anymore. But most people not change. I don't believe that people change. They just become. I became way much. I'm now the 100 times the person that I used to be. I'm just magnified my, I think, my, let's say my ambition, but also increased my quote-unquote talent by simply putting the work. And not only this, my boundaries are incredibly high, and people who meet me, they know my boundaries. Don't be too late, don't lie, don't make up things. I'm 47 years on this planet. I can pinch through any kind of weakness. And not only this, I'm doing this 7 days a week, 4 weeks a month. Well, you see the thing. See, when people take days off, that is all fun, I'm ahead. You spend time on television, I'm ahead. While you watch television, I'm consuming knowledge. While you watch also another series, I communicate with people, and I am absorb real life things, characteristics. And not only this, it makes me understand how people perceive the world. Do I know everything? No. Far from that. Like I said, we're never good enough. And that's why I'm constantly, every single day, hungry. I want to consume. I'm like a sponge. Like SpongeBob. I'm absorbing people, their emotions, their mannerisms. I'm tonalities. I'm listening to everything. For me, when I see two people walking, or I speak with them, that even have that kind of privilege, you don't have to tell me what is the balance of those two. It's you look at the fingers, you look at, now yeah, if they're scrolling together, then you already know that is simply because they attach to each other, and that's it. There's not real bond. You know, if they're, you know, if people don't have real bonds, trust me, when there is real life coming around the corner, that means real life problems. And we're not talking about that the batteries of the vibrator are empty. No, we talk about real life problems, and the other one will run. Run, 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 run. Been there, and I've experienced that multiple times. Another thing reminds me about running is never involve your spouse in any kind of business venture. Never, never, ever, ever. There's one nice quote, and probably I'm gonna say it in the wrong way. Keep what was the thing? Stay married to the business, and the other thing, then stay married to your spouse, and then you stay married to both. If you mix them up, see, I'm saying this the wrong way. It's from the book. It's named The Greatest Salesman by O.G. Mandino. And if I pronounce the name wrong, well, sorry for that. But the thing is, that book contains 10 scrolls. And I mentioned this before. I think those scrolls are so beautiful. 10 scrolls. Each scroll you need to read for 30 days. One time in the morning, one time at daytime, and one time in the evening. And you have to do this for 30 days. But I did this for 2 years. Those 10 scrolls. Bum, 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 bum. And actually that cost me one of my relationships. And then actually the fun part, she gave me that book. But the thing is, I started seeing life in a whole different way. And by doing exactly what I said now about those 10 scrolls, those actually brainwashing your subconscious. And I became very, very highly alert of everything, very aware of my own habits, and also the relationships, everything. I became very aware, which, like I said, cost me pretty much my relationship, because I didn't want to go anywhere with her anymore. You know, most of the time that involved drinking and other things. But the thing is, and it's not to talk bad about her, I simply changed. I simply changed, mainly because of the book. Mainly also because I created a new habit, a discipline. You know, if you do something for 2.5 years, reading every day the same scrolls over and over. At one point, I didn't do it according to the recipe anymore, because the recipe is, you know, you take one scroll, you start with the same scroll for the next 30 days, and you do it in the morning, daytime, and in the evening. So that's 3 times a day. That's 90 times in total in a month, which is, well, yeah, you need some discipline. And we all know, the majority of people, when they do something one time, oh, it feels uncomfortable, I don't like it. Mommy, I cannot do it anymore. I did it 1 time and it hurts. Yeah, good for you. And that's how we separate the sheep. No, I have to say it different. No, that's how we separate from the herd. But yeah, what do you want to be? A sheep who needs to be somewhere between the herd and say, you have to be at my place of business between 9 and 5. And you do exactly what I want. You have to raise your freaking finger before you go to the toilet, and you're going to be back within 5 minutes. So take a shit faster, swipe a little bit faster, and get back. And if I catch you scrolling on your phone, you're going to be fired. Or I will cut you 1 week from your escape from me. That's what he will say. So anyway, it starts to rain on top of everything. So probably I'm already talking for 54 minutes. Anywho, let's close this live stream, because anyway, oh yeah, because of the rain, maybe people will go hide. I'm going to the calisthenics spot. Because when you put in the work at the calisthenics spot, I mean, actually, well, what I really want to say is simply train where people don't train. Majority of people don't train. Train when the majority of people don't train. Then you separate yourself from the herd. Don't, I never talk disrespectful about the gym, but if you want to do different things in life, don't train in a gym. Women go to the gym. Again, no disrespect to women. The thing is, women train in the gym. Why? Because it's cozy and it's warm and the lighting is good, so your muscles look good in some kind of angles. But here in the real life, in nature, there is no perfect lighting. There is no perfect temperature. That builds your character, and that's what you want. You don't want to have this muscle mass and then they throw you in jail for 14 days and then they feed you shitty food and then you cry like a little baby because you didn't build this resilient mind. Or you lose everything. You make wrong business decisions. You lose your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or whatever you're going to lose, and then you cry like a little hummingbird somewhere under a tree, and then it's done deal. Life is over. Muscles are gone. You cannot pay for this big pile of whey powder anymore. No, you don't want it. By the way, I'm also sharing multiple times with, actually only with people who putting in the work. People who don't put in the work, I'm not sharing anything with them. Or I'm just rattling about it in videos like this, so it doesn't cost me any extra energy. I anyway would speak about the stuff that I would talk about now. So when it's about nutrition, what I take extra is simply vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and magnesium. That's it. That is really it. And I only eat when I'm hungry. And when I eat, depends also on my training regime at that specific day. I also always, this is also my mindset about training. Once my training is done, my daily regime, I always think like this. I got 24 hours to recover, probably less, maybe 20 hours to recover, so I need to hurry up. Yeah, but Alan, that sounds very insane and obsessive. Yeah, it is. I'm obsessed. I already told you. The thing is, when you start, make sure you don't stop. Starting is maybe difficult. Not stopping is more difficult. Never underestimate people who say, underestimate people when they make the statement, I'm training every day. Okay, what are you doing? You're going with, I know people, I see people also a lot on calisthenic spots. Yeah, they train maybe every day, but what are they doing over there? Swinging with elastics, like a girl with pink ponytails, and I don't know what. We are men. We don't train like girls, and you shouldn't. Okay, you should if you want to stay in your 9 to 5 and blah blah blah. But if you want something different, more unique, and no, I would highly recommend to not going into self-employed business models. That sounds all great because I know the traditional thinkers, they want to say, I'm a business owner, but in the meantime you slave away in your business, your wife cheats on you, and you know the deal because you didn't have the time. I'm giving everything away for free. You don't need to be on the place of business, dressing up like I don't know what, in a suit, cheap suit, and then just smile the whole day. Maybe you whiten your teeth a little bit and you smile the whole day in the hope that you get paid. No, you don't want this. I can conduct my business while I'm sleeping, naked under my bed sheets, and not having contact with anybody the next 90 days if I don't want to. But I'm obsessed, so I'm putting in the work, and now at the moment I'm in the upscaling phase. Ridiculous. Like I said, at the moment I don't know exactly how many automation scenarios I have running. I said I think 53 or 83. There's a big difference between that, yes, but I only need to open the phone, which I'm obviously using now to do this. But I will create those courses, and I will start with how to figure out in less than 30 days what you want. Why 30 days, Dylan? I heard about other courses. It can be done in 24 hours. Okay, good. It's not true. Because once you figure it out, you have to test it. And I'm giving you that strategies as well. yeah, you can figure out a little bit what you want, but then you will find out later on the way that you don't like it as much. And I give you the strategy how to actually confirm. You test yourself. How do you confirm what you really liked? So because you said this and this, I got a top 5, and then you figure out that you only like 1. I give you those strategies. Will save you a lot of headache. Also, especially when you start choosing a business direction, because it is simply like this. You find out what you want, you test what you want. You need to test it before you start monetizing, because once you get into monetization and you get fed up with it, then you start not feeling fulfilled, and you get very, very maybe depressed and fall back into your old patterns. I know how to prevent this. Been there, done that, narrowed everything down so a 12-year-old can do it. So I'm giving those things away. And again, what is my intention? Well, maybe 1 out of 1,000 will hit a roof and then say, no, darling, can we maybe work together to upscale? And then I would say, show me your work, show it. And then we can consider. And then you upscale. Because the upscaling is a whole different level, of course. But anyway, we're not getting into the business part. I need to close my phone and actually start doing some video calls, because yeah, after 1 hour of speaking on a live stream, I need to speak with some people. Anyway, live from Sofia, Bulgaria, at the moment, Holy Trinity Park, and as you can maybe see on the background, a lot of cars. So I want to walk towards the mineral water place, because there's a reason for that. I love Bulgaria, so I want Bulgaria streaming to my body and to all my cells. I breathe the air, I consume the water, the mineral water, so all the fibers that are actually, providing my body with the energy are actually also, Bulgarian. And the thing is, when I'm over here drinking beer, I never drink any kind of beers than Bulgarian, simply because if I would drink over here a Heineken, I'm from Holland. When I'm in Holland, I drink Heineken. When you drink over here, export Heineken, come on, man. You drink what's good in that area. That's how I think. When you do something, do it good. I'm not coming over here in Bulgaria and drink Heineken beer. And I can go better back to Holland. But anyway, I don't want to be over there. It's shitty. For a multiple amount of reasons. So, but no disrespect for the Dutch people, not at all. But if you stay over there and you live over there and you are a little bit, let's say, not the perfect Dutch person, which is a tall guy, let's say 180, blonde hair, blue eyes, almost like, we don't have to get into this, but the perfect height, little bit longer hair, wearing a little bit a blouse with some buttons on it, Levi's jeans over G-Star, and you're good to go. Then you fit in. But if you're not like this, then you're simply not good to go over there. Trust me, I have conducted multiple businesses over there, tons and tons of projects, and yeah, anyway, not to talk bad about Holland, not at all, but there are other reasons. And then, by the way, I'm also gonna go live on Rumble about Holland. See, on Rumble I can speak way much more free than on YouTube, so that's the reason that I'm also gonna pick up on Rumble again, because Rumble gives you so much more freedom of speech, and I can go very willy-nilly, which means more reality talk, because nobody else speaks the way I do. Well, that sounds very cocky. No, nobody speaks like you do. Never underestimate how unique your voice is, but if you don't know how to speak, then listen to my vlogs a little bit more. How do I learn to speak when I'm listening to you, to all your bullshit? Well, I'm giving you a lot of directions. I drop a lot of Easter eggs. But also in the courses option in the YouTube tab, I will start giving very targeted short lessons with targeted work structures. I'm going to mention again work structures. So that scares away the people who like to listen to strategies and get excited. So a strategy would be, I sold in e-commerce 100 products per day, and this is what I did. Strategy. That's a strategy. I'm gonna tell you like this: day one, do this. Day two, do this. Am I actually like an authority person? You have to do this and this? No, I'm not. I'm just showing you the way. I'm like a street sign on the side of the road. You don't have to go that road, but I'm showing it to you, the shortest way. And my things are based upon decades and decades of consuming real characteristics from people, real life situations, my business models that are now running from my phone in the cloud, blah, 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 blah. And I can direct everything with a few hours a week. If I want, maybe a few hours a month, but that's not what I want because I'm obsessed. The normal people can maybe work 1 hour a day in the beginning. Just saying. So if you watch 1 hour per day some television, I would highly suggest, if you want to start controlling your life, put a little bit of, replace the television with building something, digital assets. And no, we're not talking about crypto and all that normal people stuff. The thing is about crypto, I have also history, of course, in crypto. You know, we bought Bitcoin when it was $350 per Bitcoin, just to let you know. So anyway, not only this, we also bought Electronium at the ICO time at 0.01 something, and I sold it at 15 cents. Anyway, just to give you an idea. And VeChain was the latest one that or the last one that we ever did. I'm not in crypto anymore. The thing is, that is not, that is all fun and all the respect to the people who are very successful in the crypto thing. I am now really hyper focused on communicating with people, which actually gives you a feeling of fulfillment every single of the day. When I go to the mini mart over there, when I go to any kind of supermarket, I like to interact with people. And that makes me feel really good. And let me say this from a very selfish perspective. Yes, it makes me feel good, but collateral damage, I make other people feel good. Even if it's for 1 single second. Never underestimate people, their daily struggles. There are people in this life who struggle for real, not with made up, self-inflicted mental diseases. There are people who really struggle and really have to go through the mud every single day. Your little tiny mental problems, they don't matter. And if you really have those mental problems that you like, of course, to announce to the world, I have this and this. You know, I had one good remedy for so-called ADHD people, right? Come to Bulgaria. I'm going to make you suffer in the most subtle way. I will crumble your mental and physical state and then rebuild you. Just saying. And trust me, when you would have this thing, ADHD, run 10 kilometers a day. Yeah, but Alan, I still have too much energy. Yeah, then run 25 kilometers a day. Simple. Yeah, but Alan, I am tired all the time, and that's part of having ADHD. No, you're lazy. Just replace the words. Don't let yourself put yourself in boxes because somebody else said it. I'm just telling you to start thinking like an individual and question everything, every single thing. And especially the relationships that you have now around you, test them. You know, how did you test them? Yeah, we had once a street fight where we were all drunk and we felt very powerful. One guy and we were with 5. I felt very powerful. Fuck off. You don't know anything. You know, a lot of people never had a serious fist in the face. Anyway, we're not getting into violent talk. That is when I start getting into real stuff, I'm doing this only on Rumble. Now I'm actually live streaming on YouTube and Rumble, I think. I don't even know, because whatever I said now in the past 1 hour and 10 minutes, I'm just doing it again and again and again and again and again till you're sick of it. And you swipe away. You say, I cannot listen to all this reality stuff. I don't like it. And I also want to see swimming pools. I want to see Lamborghinis. I want to see private jets, because that motivates me for a short amount of time. So, and then when I start doing something, then I will realize that it's all very, very cold and real and wet. And then you come back to me and then you think, wow, I like actually reality. Oh, good. And then when you start liking reality, then you start testing your relationships. Get rid of your spouse that you're already fed up with. You're just attached, you don't love each other. Stop fooling yourself. That sounds harsh, Dalla. But you know what? If people are not willing to put in the work, the real work, every single second that you spend with somebody else, for me, you're not valuable. I put in the work. Trust me. Every person who meets me, I put in the work. Especially people from the opposite sex. I put in the work. I put in the work. To act like a simp? No. I think about a couple of things. And I'm really saying how I'm really approaching things. I never expect anything in return. But I know people talk. And I prefer that people talk about the good things. Not only this, I'm doing things above the average. I'm going totally out of my way. And you know what? Even if I wouldn't succeed with that so-called relationship and or whatever, I never want anything. I just want to perform. I want to perform, and I would like that people speak about it because, you know, people talk about good things and bad things. Everything that is not out of the ordinary, so it's mediocre, is not worth talking about. People don't want to be around mediocrity. Of course, at one point they will settle because they're getting older. I'm 47. You think I'm settled for something that is just because of, you know, this is now available? No, I don't think that. That is a very, 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 very poor mindset. Life is constantly abundant of opportunities. If you don't want to see it or you cannot see it, you simply also lack discipline and probably also a lot of energy. And energy is simply a result of having the disciplines and will provide you with a better life. Even if the circumstances are very shitty. How do you know though? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly. When I was sitting on a bench, not over here, but in another country, I lost everything. I didn't eat for 4 days, still run for 7 kilometers. Bam. Once, another thing, and then I'm going to stop talking. How did I get once in cold email marketing? Well, I didn't eat for a couple of days and I had $3. What did I do? I bought for $3 on eBay a knowledge package, because I was already so hungry. If I eat for $3, wouldn't do anything for me. So it was like, you know, so I chose to learn. And then like this, I came in to cold email marketing. So that's another thing. Anyway, nice talking to you guys, or whoever was watching, and I'm out. Maybe later I will do a live stream in landscape mode. Ciao for now.